You're about to make one of the most expensive decisions of your entire modular home project. And most people get it completely wrong because they focus on the upfront price instead of the total picture. Today I'm breaking down the crawl space versus basement debate with real numbers, real trade-offs, and the exact preparation steps you need to complete before your home rolls off that truck. So let's start with that. Let's start with something that surprises almost everyone. The foundation you choose doesn't affect your budget today. It affects your energy bills, your resale value, your storage capacity, and whether you spend your weekends fixing moisture problems for the next 20 years. So this decision deserves more than a 5-minute conversation with your contractor. Okay, first let's talk about what each option actually is. A crawl space is essentially a shallow foundation that elevates your home off the ground, typically from 18 inches to 4 feet of clearance. A basement is a full underground level, usually 8 to 10 feet in height, that can function as an actual living space or storage. Both involve a concrete perimeter, but the scope of the work, the excavation requirements, and the final cost are dramatically different. Here are the estimated current costs you need to budget for. A crawl space foundation for a typical modular home ranges from $8,000 on the very low end to around $25,000 depending on your soil conditions, your region, and whether you need to address drainage issues. A full basement sits on a completely different category, typically running from $30,000 to $80,000 or more. That gap exists because of excavation depth, concrete volume, waterproofing requirements, and egress window installation. Now, before you automatically choose crawl space to save money, understand what you're signing up for. Crawl spaces require proper encapsulation to prevent moisture damage, mold growth, and structural deterioration over time. A basic vapor barrier installation runs $2,000 to $4,000. A full encapsulation with insulation, a dehumidifier, and sealed vents can push past $15,000. So add that into your real cost calculation. With a basement, your upfront costs are higher, but you gain functional square footage that can be finished later. An unfinished basement immediately adds storage and utility space. A finished basement can add $40,000 to $60,000 in home value depending on your market. Many homeowners report that the basement investment pays back through resale value and reduced heating costs because of the natural ground insulation surrounding that lower level. All right, so let me give you the honest trade-off breakdown. Choose your crawl space if the lot has significant slope variations or rocky soil that makes it deep excavation cost prohibitive. Choose a crawl space if you're on a tight initial budget and plan to invest in a proper encapsulation immediately after installation. Choose a basement if you want long-term value, additional living potential, and a mechanically accessible area that makes future repairs significantly easier. Your actual site preparation timeline should look something like this. Start with a survey and a perk test if you're installing a septic system. Then order your soil analysis. Then you have foundation engineered and permitted, which can take 4 to 8 weeks in many municipalities. Foundation permitting alone has derailed delivery schedules for countless modular homeowners, so start this process much earlier than you think necessary. After permits come through, excavation begins. For a crawl space, this typically takes 1 to 3 days with equipment. For a basement, you're looking at 3 to 7 days of excavation plus time for the concrete forms, the pour, and the cure. Concrete needs a minimum of 28 days to reach full strength, though most contractors schedule the home delivery after 7 to 14 days with appropriate loading calculations reviewed by an engineer. One critical preparation detail that gets overlooked constantly is the anchor bolt placement. Your foundation contractor and your modular home manufacturer must communicate directly about the exact bolt pattern, the height specifications, and beam pocket locations. If these measurements are off even by a few inches, your home cannot be properly set and secured. Request the manufacturer's foundation specification sheet before your contractor pours a single yard of concrete. All right, utility rough-ins also happen during the preparation window. Your plumber needs to install this under slab, under crawl space plumbing before the home arrives. Electrical conduit entry points need to be placed correctly, And if you have a basement, your HVAC connections need to be coordinated with how the home's duct system will marry into the lower level. Here's a psychological trap that costs homeowners real money. They rush the foundation to hit their delivery date instead of delaying the delivery to get the foundation right. Modular manufacturers typically charge rescheduling fees, and that pressure causes people to accept marginal work just to stay on schedule. Build at least 3-week buffer between your expected foundation completion and your scheduled delivery date. All right, let me give you one final framework for making your decision. Ask yourself 3 questions. How long do you plan to own the home? If the answer is over 15 years, the basement investment almost always makes financial sense. Second, what is the groundwater situation on your property? High water tables dramatically complicate basement waterproofing and can make crawl spaces equally problematic without serious drainage systems. Third, what does your local real estate market reward? In some rural markets, basements add minimal resale value. In suburban markets, buyers often expect them. The bottom line is this. There's no universally correct answer between crawl space and basement, but there is definitely a right answer for your specific property, your budget, your climate, and your long-term goals. Get your soil test done, engage a structural engineer early, communicate obsessively with your modular manufacturer about foundation specifications, and build a realistic timeline that protects you from the pressure of rushing one of the most permanent decisions in this entire process. Your home will sit on that foundation for decades. Give it the attention it deserves. Want to see the real process? Click the link